Okay, so let's talk a little bit more word problems. Your book's always going to call them applications of linear equations. They're word problems. Um, but I just wanted to bring out another one, give you another reference, and let's talk about this for just a second. So first off, I always want you to read a word problem. I want you to try to put yourself in it and understand what is going on, what's happening here. So in the 16-17 NBA regular season, Golden State won 7 more than 4 times as many games as they lost. Warriors played in a total of 82 games. How many wins and losses did they have? All right. So whether you know anything about basketball or not, it's immaterial. When we talk about a team, we want to know how good they are. We want to know how many wins and losses that they have. So if Golden State won 7 more than 4 times as many games as they lost, they won 7 more than 4 times their losses. They had a pretty doggone good season. Okay, they won more than they lost. So that tells us kind of where we're headed in this. So really, we got to break this down a little bit. Things we know. All right, we know that Golden State played 82 games. That's 82 total games. Those games comes from wins and losses. So wins plus losses is 82. Now, what we want to dole into and find out is we want to know exactly how many games they won and how many losses they won. But, and I'm not going to write wins and losses out over here. I have to write a representation over here of how many wins they lost and or wins that they had and losses that they have earned. So I got to go back in and dig into this. The odd thing about it is I don't care what they tell us. I want to know what they don't tell us. So when I come back in here and it says the Golden State Warriors won 7 more as many times they lost, that ought to kick me in and say, I don't have a clue how many they lost and they're not telling me what it is. Human intuition says that's now what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for their losses. We're going to represent that with L. I come back to this guy. It does tell me, it doesn't tell me the number of games they lost, but it tells me some kind of representation of how many games they've won. It says they won 7 more than 4 times as many of their losses. So how do I write 7 more than 4 times this guy? 4L will give me 4 times their losses, and I want 7 more than that. So this is a representation of how many wins they have. And now if you look, I've got one variable. So the wins now, let me back this up a little bit, is this guy. I'm plugging it in there. The losses now is represented by L, and I'm plugging it in there. So now, over here on the side, I'm going to go ahead and solve for this problem. Let's do it in black. So I have 82 is equal to their wins, which is now 4L plus 7. And realistically, I don't need the parentheses because I'm adding the losses to it. But that tells me that this is the wins. This group, this expression, excuse me, this expression represents wins. And this one's losses. I really don't need it because I'm adding on to it, but I like to do that anyway. So I have 4L here, 1L there, so I have 5L plus 7. So I've simplified the right side. I've already got the left side simplified. I'm going to subtract 7 to this side, so I get 75 is equal to 5L. I'm going to divide the 5 off of both sides. I get L is equal to 15. So this tells me now that they had 15 losses. If I plug this back into here, 15 times 4 is 60, plus 7 is 67 wins. How many wins and losses did the team have? I've already answered the question. Now the great thing about algebra, we can check it. If we add these two guys up, they better equal the total amount of games that they've played. So 12 carry the 1, 6 and carried 1 is 82. It looks pretty doggone good to me.